Okay, naming compounds and writing formulas. That's what this video is going to be about. You're familiar with the periodic table already, and here's what it looks like usually. We usually take this chunk right here and put it on the bottom, otherwise the table's way too wide. I do keep one in my classroom that's actually real width, but this is how it usually looks. And for this video, I'm actually going to ignore a lot of this table. I'm going to ignore all this stuff here and here. So in just 1 second, I'm going to be back and I'm going to chop that part out. Okay, I'm back. I sliced away a lot of the stuff that I don't want to use, and this is what I want. So just as a quick refresher, this is the first column. These guys all have one outer electron, and they want to lose it, and they want to become +1 ions. These this next column of metals, these guys all want to lose 2 electrons, so they'd like to become +2 ions. I got rid of the noble gases because they don't want to do much at all. And these nonmetals over here, these guys all have 7 valence or outer electrons. They'd like to become -1 ions. And then the pattern continues, -2, -3. These guys right here, they can do +3 because it continues over from here. And then in the middle here we got carbon and silicon. Not going to worry about those so much in this class. Okay, so what happens when these atoms get together? Well, basically all I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to jump around. I'm going to pick something from this column and then something over here, or I'm going to pick basically something from the left side of that line and something from the right side of that line, and I'm going to ignore those guys. So let's see here. Let's just start picking one. Let's say we pick lithium and oxygen. Okay, so the name is going to be lithium oxide. How did I know that? Well, there's some rules. The first rule is that the metal goes first, and that's whoever's positive goes first. And then another rule is that the non-metal loses its ending and then has "ide" on the end. So non-metal "ide" ending. Okay, and if I remember anything else here, I'll just tell you as we go. So lithium oxide. Now, what would the formula be for this? Well, lithium is +1 and oxygen is -2. That means it's going to take 2 of the lithiums to make 1 oxygen happy. So the formula is Li2O. Okay, who could I pick next? I could pick, let's see, I'll pick sodium. And how about bromine? Okay, so our name is going to be sodium bromide. Remember the IDE ending, sodium bromide. And the formula for this one, we got a +1 connecting with a -1. That means it's only going to take 1 of each, so it's going to be NaBr. That's the formula. All right, who's next? Let's take magnesium and fluorine. So it's going to be magnesium fluoride. And the formula, we're hooking up a +2 with atoms that only want to gain 1. That means we're going to have 2 of these F atoms to make 1 magnesium happy. So it's going to be MgF2. So the name is magnesium fluoride. The formula is MgF2. All right, let's do, how about calcium and sulfur? So the name of it is going to be calcium sulfide. And we're hooking up a +2 with a -2. That means it's going to take 1 of each to make each of them happy. So it's going to be CaS. And that is it. And what if I took, let's say, potassium and hooked it up with nitrogen? So that would be potassium nitride. And what would the formula be? Well, K is +1, and nitrogen likes to do -3. That means I'm going to need 3 of my +1s to make the 1N happy. So it's going to be K3N. You can and should do more of these to practice. Before I go, I'll tell you about a worksheet that I have, or an activity that I do. or have done, and it involves drawing whoever's positive. We draw them like if we're drawing lithium, we draw them with a little point poking out, and lithium is +1. And then whoever is negative, we draw with a little dent poking inward. So like iodine would be I, and it would be -1. So you'll see the way that I drew these, they look kind of like they go together. So if you hook them together, what you wind up with is this. You get LiI. So that would be lithium iodide. And this same little trick works with the 2 and the 3s as well. But let's say we got beryllium. Beryllium would get drawn like this. Since it wants to lose 2 electrons, we draw it with 2 things poking out. And then if you wanted to hook that up with, say, chlorine, chlorine is a -1. So chlorine, I forgot to write the +2 here. So it would take 2 of these chlorines to make 1 beryllium happy. So once you make this into a rectangle, you cut these things out if you want to, then you know that you're balanced. +2 and then -1, -1, they balance each other out. So this would be beryllium chloride, and the formula would be BeCl2. So if you need some practice, ask me about this worksheet or that activity, and I can point it out to you.